What is going on, Spurs Nation? Thank you so much for joining us on a 4th of July afternoon. If you're out and you're having fun on this 4th of July evening, stay safe, wear a mask, don't touch anything, don't touch your face, right? Just be safe if you're out there. I know if you're in Texas and San Antonio, South Padre Island, wherever you are, just be safe. So to get this BS live going, first thing I want to do is just show you my YouTube page, which you already know, but I want to make sure that you guys know about this playlist, right? So the Spurs are coming back. There's going to be a lot of basketball. There's going to be a lot of basketball coming in. They got 8 games, but they also have a couple scrimmage games. So we're going to be able to get a nice little dose of the San Antonio Spurs coming back, right? And next season is supposed to start in December. So we'll take what we can get right now, but I want you to go to my Facebook page, or sorry, not my Facebook page, my YouTube page. I want you to click here on playlists, and then I want you to click here on San Antonio Spurs Film Room. Now, if you want to get your fix, right, on the film room, on the Spurs, and kind of get ready for Orlando, I got plenty of content in here in this playlist, so make sure that you go and check that out. So this Bucking Spurs Film Room, this Bucking Spurs Live is meant just to kind of chat with you guys, take it easy on a Saturday evening. On Monday, I'm going to be doing the film room live between the Spurs and the Memphis Grizzlies. My viewers on Twitter went ahead and voted for one of the games that I will be dissecting, and that live stream is actually already built. So you guys can go ahead and click the notification bell on that live stream. Okay, so I'm gonna pull that up for you really quick here. I have to share my screen one more time with you. Okay, let's go here. If you go to my YouTube page, all right, go to my channel, and then I want you guys to go to videos. Okay. Where is it? Where is it? Should be there. Should be here somewhere. No, I don't want to play all. Okay, so I'm messing with YouTube. I'm gonna stop doing that because it's not going so well. But just want to let you guys know that Monday, around 11 a.m. That's when I'm hoping to do these film rooms with you guys. So 11 a.m. Monday, Spurs versus Memphis. I'll go into some of the patterns that I saw from us and some of the strategies that they used against us. Memphis did pretty well against San Antonio this season. And in the game that I'm going to dissect, it was chosen by everyone on Twitter. Just to let y'all know, a lot of people wanted me to go in and see what, what we were doing offensively that worked in that game that we blew out Memphis. And let me tell you what we did that worked. We gave the ball to LaMarcus Aldridge, and LaMarcus Aldridge had a crazy night. I think he had 25 points in the first quarter against Memphis. So he had I think that was his career high in a quarter this season against Memphis. So Memphis had no one who can guard this guy. And I'm going to dive into it a lot more on Monday, and I'll be breaking down the film with you. And I kind of want to highlight some things that Minnesota did, the strategies that they used to try to pick on us defensively, and see what we can do to make some adjustments so that doesn't come around and bite us. Okay, next thing I want to share with you guys, and I'll start taking your comments here in a little bit. So if you're watching, please hit the subscribe button down below, the like button down below, and if you want to get your question on this show, use the hashtag BS Live, and I'll go ahead and put that on the screen towards the end of the show, and I'll see if I can answer as many of them as I can. So what's next for OOC? That's one of the questions that we get all the time. So this is what I want you to do. If you want to know what's going to happen between me and the guys in the OOC, go to the OOCspurs.com and then look at the calendar. The calendar will tell you what we're doing, where everything is. So if you look down here, we're going to do an after the buzzer show for the Laker game and the Clipper game. But this is the big one right here, 7:45 to 9:45 p.m. San Antonio Spurs versus Sacramento watch party, right? So this one is going to be free. Now, order on the court, everything that we do for you guys that's not OOC Live and the mailbag, it's premium content, right? So we're going to be giving you guys post-game reactions a place for you to go and communicate with other Spurs fans in a watch party setting. We're going to have special guests come in and out of the watch party. We're working on getting those booked. It's very exciting. We just got our DeJounte Murray jersey giveaway that we're going to do during that first live stream. So if you're watching this and you want to have fun when the Spurs come back, you want to join a live stream where, we're going to be interacting with you guys. We're going to be interacting with each other, the guys from OOC. We're going to be doing giveaways. We're just going to be having a lot of fun during that opening game because I know you guys are excited just as much as we are to watch some Spurs basketball. So this first watch party is free. Okay. So then after that, you'll have to become a member. So click up here on the membership in order to see all of this exclusive live content. We might post some of these videos onto our regular public YouTube page, but it'll definitely be after the fact. All right. So if you want to be in the room, if you want to be in the place, you want to be having fun, you want your comment to be heard, you want to, maybe win a jersey, you want to, see some fun guests pop in and out that are in the Spurs world, go to oocspurs.com. You can check out this video. This kind of breaks it down for you by the subscription level, but $5 a month and you get all of that. This end of the bench level, that's to get our homepage access, which is free right now, but it will cost $1. And that's where you get all of our content in one place. The 6-man level, that's where you guys need to be. You need to be here. You need to select this and sign up to become a 6-man member for OOC. Why? Because we have plenty of watch parties coming up. We have plenty of post games coming up for you guys to watch that you're only going to be able to watch if you're a member. Okay. And we're standing firm on all that. We'll do OOC live for you guys every week. No problem. But when it comes to all this exclusive content, it's premium access. And why? Why is it premium access? Well, I'm in Texas, Harrison's in North Carolina, Maddie's in Wisconsin, Destin's in Memphis. I don't know if y'all know that, but we linked up for this. We linked up for you guys. All right. So everything that we have going up here at OOC is for y'all. All right. So if you just really like what we do and you really want to support us, become a starter level member right here. Now, to find everything that we do here, go to Order on the Court on YouTube, and that's the name of our YouTube page. You can subscribe there. All right, so that's my Order on the Court announcement for today. Now, next thing I want to talk about is my friends, my good friends at San Antonio at projectspurs.com. Timmy D, I see you asking a question. How do I ask a question again? It's on the ticker on the bottom of the screen. Use the BS hashtag to BS live hashtag to get it on the screen. Thank you, Timmy D, for hanging out with me today. So let's go ahead and I want to share another tab with you, and that's projectspurs.com. So guys, projectspurs.com has woken up. I don't know if you guys have been there lately. During, I'm not judging any media outlet, or whatever, ESPN or anyone right now during this quarantine time, because we're all starving for content right now. And, Project Spurs is those are my people right there. And they've actually put my work on their front page a few times. So if you see, here's the Keldon Johnson and Lucas Samanic versus Brooklyn Nets film room that I did right here. They got a bunch of more articles right now. The NBA released their scrimmage schedule. Let's go ahead and read that really quick because we know about the actual games, the 8 games. But let's go ahead and go through Paul Garcia's article, July 4th. That was today. So today was the day that they released the schedule. Let me go ahead and figure out what the heck happened here. Okay, so let's read this from Paul Garcia. Before the San Antonio Spurs officially began their 8-game season schedule on July 31st, right? That's the date of our first watch party at OC, by the way. They'll first participate in 3 scrimmage games from July 23rd through July 28th that will allow players to adapt to game situations since 5-on-5 scenarios have been off limits since the season was suspended in March. The Spurs will face the Milwaukee Bucks. Ooh, the Brooklyn Nets, give me that win. And the Indiana Pacers, no Oladipo. Okay, so in their scrimmage games, July 23rd, Spurs versus Bucks, July 25th, and July 28th. So I'm excited about, if you want to read more about this article, go to projectspurs.com and see more. But I'm very excited about everything that's happening right now with the Spurs. I know that a lot of people don't think that, we don't have that great of a chance to come back and make the playoffs. And to be honest, We don't, but at the same time, we have the capability to do something very special. All right, so Timmy D, I'm gonna put your question up on screen, bud, since you're here hanging out with me. Let's get this on screen. BS Live hashtag. Okay. Do you think Lonnie and DJ buzzing their hair will impact our chances of getting the 8th seed? Timmy D, I was gonna bring this up, brother, so I'm glad you brought it up. So I'll go ahead and skip to this. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about DeJounte, and let's talk about Lonnie cutting their hair. Let me see, where can I find that probably the most? Let me go. You know who's really good on Twitter, guys? I don't know if y'all follow him or not, but you guys need to go ahead and follow Jeff G Spurs Zone. That's Jeff Garcia over there. With the Spurs Zone and News 4SA. But he posted up a lot of stuff yesterday. So that's, I think I'm going to try to find some of that. Those pictures of them two cutting their hair. Let me tell you a little bit how I feel. First, when Lonnie did it, I know that it was a very cathartic moment for Lonnie. I know that I understand that cutting his hair cut a lot of weight that he carried on his shoulders, not just from basketball things, but things that he's carried in his past. Dang. Anyways, I can't find it right now. But anyways, but let's talk about it. So I think that Lonnie is gonna take a leap in his game without that hair. We talked about it on OOC Live the other day, and I think I used to have long, flowy hair, Euro hair, Manu 2005 hair back when I played, and I've had long hair plenty of times growing up, and playing basketball with it was never all that easy. You got to maintain it. It's going to be in your way. You better be able to deal with it in your way. You might want to get a headband. All of these things that you don't really think they affect your style of play, but they do in a way. Now, do they affect how good you are? No, you're going to be as good as you are no matter what hair you have. But the hair on your head really can do a lot for you. With swagger, I'm sure that hair that Lonnie had gave him a sense of aggressiveness and mentality to go ahead and be himself. I think Lonnie Walker is one of those guys that from day one, everyone's always asked him to compare himself to other players, and he doesn't. He says, I'm Lonnie Walker. There's no one like me. There's no one that can, I have full confidence in myself and the player that he's going to be, and he has the mentality to be great. So I think cutting that hair was a cathartic thing, like I said before, like he mentioned. But I think it is going to affect his play. He's just going to be able to be a little bit more free out there. When you cut off all that hair, it's like you're a new you. It's like getting brand new shoes. You put those new kicks on, and it's just like, damn, you can ball with the best of them, right? Just because you put a new pair of Jordans on or whatever it was, some Kobe's, some Hirachis, whatever it is. But DJ cutting his hair, now that was the surprise. So DeJounte Murray cutting his hair off. He he looks good, man. He looks clean. Honestly, I'm more scared of DeJounte with his haircut right now than I was before, because I used to always come online and say, man, I love DeJounte's swag. I love Lonnie Walker's swag. It was like this youth, we had just gotten out of the Big Three era last year with DeMar DeRozan's first season here when DeJounte went down. That was a bummer, but Lonnie came in, and Derek White, we all know about his hairdo too. That thing can fluctuate from time to time. But I really liked it. I really liked the swagger and the culture and the style that they brought to the table. But DeJounte cutting off his hair and Lonnie cutting off his hair makes me think that they're like, you know what? Nah, it's time to grow up. It's time to put some things behind us that we need to put behind us. And maybe it's our hair. Maybe maybe for them too, it's a cathartic thing, like a moving forward type of thing. And I'm excited about it. And DeJounte Murray, without the hair that he had before, with his new haircut, I should say, dude, that guy looks scary. He looks scary. Like I'm not sure if he's gonna kill me or not. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know if you saw the DeJounte Murray interview with Chris Haynes, the podcast on Yahoo Sports. Man, great podcast. Great to see and to learn about DeJounte's history. And that podcast, the reason why I brought that up is because they called him Baby Boy or something like that when he was younger. And with this haircut, he looks so much younger. I want to say he looks, like a kid almost again. And he kind of was doing like this thing, and he kind of, you can tell he was, in his feelings about it all. But after I saw a couple of those pictures and I saw DeJounte's face, I was just like, dude, this guy looks like he's all business now. Like Lonnie Walker and DeJounte Murray cutting their hair, to me looks like, to me, that tells me that they're all about the business now. They're not about the swag. They're not about, the Insta story. They're not about whatever. And they've never been, but cutting their hair kind of seems to be like a symbolism of that, of like, hey, we're all struggling. I'm gonna cut this hair off, blah, 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 and I'm gonna move forward, right? So I'm very excited to see what they do on the court. Timothy's got another question here. Fabian Erickson, I know you put a question. Anyone who wants me to answer their question, go ahead and put the hashtag there. All right, it's on the clicker on the bottom of the screen. Use the hashtag BS Live to get your question on screen. Timothy's got another one here. I'm honestly more excited for the draft than the season. I believe we can fill a lot of holes in our team here with the 11th pick. Who do you want to draft in the second round? We're very excited for the draft. Timmy D. Harrison over there at OOC Spurs. He works for North Carolina University, and he knows a lot of collegiate athletes. He's very involved in that process, and he has been telling me for so long now that he is not that excited for this draft. He actually thinks that it would be best for the Spurs to trade their 11th pick and move down in the draft, because he thinks that there's some talent at the end of the draft that are kind of like Spurs fits, where they're low key guys. They didn't go to the big school. Maybe they transferred from D2 to D1, but they're just prospects. Harrison loves the prospect aspect of the draft, and he thinks that we can find some at the end. So that's Harrison. For me, I think the 11th pick, you don't sneeze on that. You don't just give it away. I think for the Spurs, the closest that we've had for I don't know how many years was 19 last year. And so we have the opportunity to draft at that position. I think that there's a good 12, 15 guys in this draft that can be game changers for your franchise. Actually, I take that back. Maybe only 3 or 4 that are game changers, but there's a good – Harrison calls it a role players draft, and he's not wrong. There are great role players in this draft. Like, I've been watching a lot of the Ringers redraftables. I don't know if you guys have been doing that. Bill Simmons and the guys from the from the Ringer have been redrafting like every class. So they'll go back and redraft the 2005 class, with what they know now looking back, right? And so – if you look back, like I've seen like 10 of those drafts, and most of them die off like at pick 8. And I'm talking about like, this is like 10 years, 15 years later. Like we already know how these players played out, and they're still, out of those 60 some players that actually made careers out of each draft class, is only like 8 players a draft class that actually make good NBA careers, so having the pick at 11 just gives us a better chance, I think, to grab one of those players. I would love to find the perfect role player at pick 11. I love Sadiq Bey. I love what he brings to the floor offensively. I love that he seems to be a smart defender. I think he needs to work on his agility, his quickness, the physical tools he needs to work on, which he can. You see a lot of players that come out of college and they're not in great shape, like PJ Tucker. PJ Tucker came out, of UT Austin, played for like a year, and then was gone for 5 years to go play overseas. And then he came back and found his spot, the perfect fit. Mike D'Antoni's system, let him be who he is now. He was drafted a long time ago. But anyways, Sadiq Bey kind of seems like a guy that is going to take time to develop his body, but I love his decision making. And to me, I know the Spurs, if I'm looking back at, players that they've drafted, they like smart players, right? They want players at each position that has a brain, which is why Trey Lyles gets a lot of minutes. Trey Lyles is a very, very smart player. And so I think if the Spurs are looking in the draft, I like – there's a few names. We did an episode not too long ago, a preview of a Harrison show called Next Up. I know I'm talking a lot about Harrison from OC Spurs, but he's the college guy, and he's putting together his draft show that's premium access only on OOC Spurs. I'm telling you guys, you need to go and become a 6 member now to get all the access to all that content coming up. And a lot more. Okay, so I like Sadiq Bey. I like what's his name from Florida State? Vassell. Devin Vassell. I like him too. Of course, I like Denny Avdija. Denny. I know Noah Magato George on Twitter. He writes for poundingtherock.com. I know he's very high on Denny. He's been posting a lot of things about him lately. But there's a lot of talent in this draft that I would be very upset if the Spurs decide to move off that 11th spot. I don't care how good this draft is. Like, I don't care if it's top heavy and only the top 4 players are superstar potential. I don't care. We have the 11th pick. That gives us the priority. Unless, now this is a big if. I don't want to see them move off the 11th pick unless they know who they want. They know who they want, and they think they can get them in the 20s and move down. But that will include a trade that involves more picks, and maybe we're swapping picks with another team and whatnot. But I like the 11th pick. I want the 11th pick. I do not want to give it up and get rid of it. All right, so Fabian is going to ask a question. Do you think there are any chances of seeing some of Luka Samanic considering that LA is out? Yes. I think there's a big chance. I think with LaMarcus being out, it sets the tone of what we as an organization are going to put on our expectations on. So without LaMarcus Aldridge, the expectation is we don't make the playoffs. Without LaMarcus Aldridge, the expectations are that we don't have the guy to go to, possession in and out of possessions throughout a game. So we're going to miss him a lot. Without LaMarcus Aldridge, my film room that I did a few weeks ago, you can check it out on my YouTube channel. Go to that film room, San Antonio Spurs film room playlist. It's in there. It's called the Spurs 1920 Spurs without LaMarcus Aldridge. I don't know if you've seen it yet, but in the time this season without LaMarcus, the main points of that video is that we don't have a problem picking up the slack offensively. We have a problem protecting the rim. We have a problem getting after it on the defensive end. We give up a lot of buckets. We give up a lot of lanes to the rim. I'm sorry to say it, but we do. And LaMarcus Aldridge is that guy who bails us out when they get there. He makes them change their shot, or he gets the blocks. He had 87 blocks on the season, so he was doing it all on the defensive end. While he was out, Trey Lyles was the guy who stepped up. And, man, we rode him. Man, we gave him all the minutes. We gave him all the shots he wanted, and he did great with it. He was efficient, and he carried us. Now, Luka was there. Now, it's something that I didn't really talk about in the film room. I wanted to mention it a little bit, but at the end, I figured it was just too out there to even bring up. But while at the end of the season, LaMarcus Aldridge missed 6 of the last 7 games. He played against Dallas and then missed the next 6 games and then played against Dallas again before we went out on hiatus. And during those games that LaMarcus Aldridge was inactive, Luka Samanic was there on the bench. He was called up all those games. And against Brooklyn, that's the film room that I did the other day when I talked about Keldon and Luka and what they were doing defensively against Brooklyn that I liked to see. That was the only game that they actually got to play because it got away from them. It was like a 20-point. We were down 20 points like in the first quarter or in the second quarter. So Luka got to play a lot. I expect Luka to get some minutes. I'm interested to see what we do in these scrimmage games because it's like, okay, do we have to treat these scrimmage games like preseason games? Because if we do, we know how that goes. The G League guys are going to get a lot of tick. The starters are going to get about maybe 18 to 20 minutes a game, and that's it for those first 3 preseason games. And then you see a lot of the young guys play. So I would expect to see Luka Samanic play in the preseason games, and I would put money on him getting some type of minutes during those 8 games as well, because let me tell you what the Spurs are going to do. They're going to go to Jakob. They're going to go to Trey Lyles. Those are the 2 guys that are going to play a lot at the 5. right? Trey Lyles plays a lot at the 5 too. And against Sacramento, they play small too. They run Harrison Barnes at the 5, or they have that Nemanja Bjelica guy from Sacramento who Trey Lyles can guard as well. Then behind those two guys, you have Drew Eubanks and Chimezie Metu, and Chimezie is the guy I feel like needs the most tick out of this. He needs to take this opportunity to prove that he can play on this level and that he deserves an NBA contract, right? Because his contract's up this year, and I think he's been hungry. I think out of all these guys, low key, Chimezie's probably the most hungry to show what he can do. He's had some moments. That's the thing, though. I don't want to make it seem like the Spurs never called him up this season to give him a shot. No, they did. They called Chimezie up quite a few times, and I as much as I want to believe in Chimezie, as much as I want to believe in his athleticism, his tenacious defensive instincts, and all that stuff. There's something about the inconsistency and the few and far in between while he's on the court that bothers me. Sometimes Chimezie gives up plays. He takes bad shots. He doesn't rotate. And then the next play, he does something spectacular, but what about those 3 plays before where he just kind of blew it on the defensive end or blew a rebound or whatever, or gets posterized by the other team's third string guy? I've seen that a few times, and I love Chimezie. I want him to figure it out. I need him to figure it out because he can be a big part of what we do here in the future. I love the camaraderie he has with our young guys and Lonnie Walker. He spent the last 2 years in the G League playing with all these guys for the most part. So I'm expecting a lot out of Chimezie. Luka's the guy that can change it all, though. Don't you think so, Fabian? Luka, I think most people see him as being like our franchise guy in 3 years, being the guy that we're gonna run our team through. Right now, if you want to know what I mean, right now we run our team through LaMarcus Aldridge and we run them through DeMar DeRozan. Right, those two guys get 20 shots a game almost. I know last year they both averaged 20 points a game each. So those are the guys that get all of the attention, all of the run. But eventually they're not going to be here. Or when they are here, I think we still need to shift towards Luka. I think RC saying it last year that he's the guy that the league, he's the Luka Samanic is the prototypical power forward, small forward in this league that you need to be successful. That LeBron James, the Kawhi, the Kevin Durant, the Paul George, that position, we need to be dominant at that position. And Luka has all the potential to be all those things. Offensively, he can play make, he can shoot, he can pass, he can rebound, he's smart, he can post up on the block. Go look at his film room that I did a long time ago. So it seems like forever ago now, but I did a film room on Luka after 20 some games he had played in the Austin Spurs, and kind of dug into what his game looks like right now. I don't think that's going to be what it looks like when it's all said and done. I think he's going to be somewhat like a Dirk, a mix between Dirk and KD, a little bit more agile and athletic than Dirk, but the shot similarity is there. The IQ is there. He's going to be a hell of a player. So I can't wait to see him get some minutes coming back. Timmy D, do you want Pop to go to Orlando? I heard Barkley say the bubble's not going to stay clean. It's a ticking time bomb, and I agree. I want Pop to stay home and not get sick. I don't want Pop to get sick either. I don't want Pop to come into any type of harm's way. He's already been through a lot in the past few years with the passing of his wife, the whole Kawhi thing, losing the big 3 and finally getting Timmy back this year on the bench. Pop has been going through a lot too, and he's just that rock that's never going to show it or admit to it. But the last thing that I want to do is see Popovich go get sick and get the corona and not come back from it. I know that there are some people already, staff, there are some coaches that are saying that they're electing not to go to Orlando. It's hard for me to say that I don't want Pop there, because I do. We all do. There's something about Pop being there that just gives me all the confidence in the world. That's the way it was with the big three, with our big three for so long. It's just like no matter what year it was, we always knew we had a chance to win, no matter what playoff series it was, no matter if we were playing Miami, Memphis, OKC or whoever. We always knew we had a chance to win. And for me, what gave me that edge was not only our players, but it was Coach Pop. To me, I always trusted Pop to be the smartest guy on the floor and to have the better game plan versus the other team, or to make the right adjustments at the end of quarters or timeouts or halftime. Pop not being there would be a huge hit on my confidence on what we could do. Now, Tim Duncan, Becky Hammond, Will Hardy, all those coaches, Chip England, I have confidence in them too, but Pop's a whole different animal. I think y'all know that. So I do want Pop to go, but I don't want him to risk his health. So if he ends up not showing up to Orlando and the Spurs have to, go under the helm of coaching by committee, because Tim Duncan is 1-1 as a 1-0 as a head coach. He's 100%. It was against Charlotte. I don't know if y'all remember that game this year, but against Charlotte. And he came out and said after the game that if it was him coaching or Becky coaching or whoever coaching, the game plan would have still been the same, because that's how they work in San Antonio. They game plan by committee. And I'm here to tell you, it's not like that everywhere. Not every head coach gives that responsibility and trust to his assistants. Okay. I luckily coach for I'll give him a shout out, Brian Molina at Harlingen South High School, who's a hell of a defensive minded coach. And he trusts us to give him input during games. And one of the other assistant coaches is in charge of all the out of bounds plays for our squad. And so we do a lot of scouting, but a lot of the scouting is done by our head coach. And so with the Spurs, it seems like they delegate that. So Pop not being there maybe doesn't affect it as much. So like Tim Duncan said that they had the game plan, and it was what it does. They would have made the same substitutions, made the same adjustments, and blah, 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 if Pop was there or not. So the Spurs by committee aspect to things, I really do like. I like our chances, right? But Pop not being there, it's just weird, right? It's just weird. I don't want it. I don't want it, but I do want him to go to Orlando, but I don't want him to get sick, if that makes any sense. My fiance says I'm a walking enigma because I'm always contradicting myself, and she's right. It's one of those times. Like, I want him to go, but I don't want him to get sick, but I really want him to go. It's like, well, what is it? Okay, so let's talk a little bit about let me just get you guys some, while I have you here. If you're watching, please go hit the subscribe button down below. Please use the hashtag BS Live to get your question on screen. That's what this is. It's a Saturday evening, and it's a July 4th. Happy birthday to anyone who has their birthday today. Happy Independence Day to America, and be safe out there. Take care of yourself. Okay. So let's see what we have here in the chat room as well. It's kind of dying down. All right. So just want to let you guys know that on Monday, I'm going to be doing a film room live of the Spurs versus the Memphis Grizzlies. So go ahead, please, and check that out on Monday, probably around 11 a.m. If y'all think I should move that to the PM, let me know. I like 11 a.m. in the morning, but I know the chat room is a little bit more live here in the evenings. Last question of the day from Timmy D. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. Rich Boy, I see you're in here as well. Appreciate you. It's interesting you talk about coaching by committee, because both Danny Green and Davis Bertans has said after leaving that the Spurs organization is like a dictatorship. What do you think about that? It's a dictatorship in the way that they do things. I don't think they're talking about on the court, Timmy D, and the way that they strategize. It's about the culture and the expectations that they have for the players, and like the knuckleheaded stuff. The Spurs do not want to tolerate any knuckleheads. that's a dictatorship coming from the top all the way down. That probably comes from Peter Holt, or his wife, and then down to RC, down to Pop and whatever. They're military. I mean, Pop's ex-military, so it's a very authoritative way of running your organization. But Pop does it to where the players know that once he gets off the court, it's all love, and he's talking about family and life and politics and culture and religion and all these things off the court. But when it comes to being on the court, there is no room for error. And yeah, like Danny Green can go to Toronto and he's like, oh wow, I get to do whatever I want in Toronto. Or Davis Bertans goes from San Antonio where he's required to play defense. And if y'all remember, that's why he couldn't play in that Denver series last year, is because he could not play D. So when Davis says, oh, it's like a dictatorship over there, yeah, if you don't play defense, you're not going to play, no matter how well he's shooting the ball. And when he gets the ball, if he does something out of character, he's going to be on the bench. In other words, I want to see Davis sprinting up and down the floor, sprinting to his spots to get his shot off as much as possible. But if I start seeing him catching that ball and trying to cross people up and try to drop dimes, he's going to be on the bench. Whereas in Washington, they're just going to give him the ball back again and say, all right, good job, man. Try again. You know what I mean? So, I think that's what they mean. It's not that it's no fun or it sucks or it's a dictatorship and Pop, is this old mean guy. And it's not that. It's just that they have a clear expectation to how to do things in San Antonio and how they want to do things, and the people that they want to bring in, the people that they want to develop. They don't get a lot of say in the matter. And to be honest, that's what makes us so successful. If we were just another team who let players do whatever they want on the court, Pop had no control, and the organization didn't support Pop, and then next thing you know, Pop's gone because it's a players league. And that's not what we want. That's not what we want. So we want that there's something that a coach told me one time. It was a girl, a female coach, very successful female coach. She had gone to the playoffs, I don't know, like 8 years in a row and Sweet 16. She said that, and this is when I was first coming into coaching, and I was asking her like, hey, you're so successful. I'm so blown away by how she has been able to turn that program around and all that stuff. And I asked her about coaching women, and I said, how is that? And she goes, it's different than coaching boys, because she's coached boys before, like at younger ages, but this was high school. And she told me that no matter what the gender or whatever, these players crave discipline. They want to be whipped into shape. They want all of that to mold them and to build them. And I took that to heart, and it's so true. You might have a knucklehead in practice or whatever once in a while, but you need to get on that. You need to correct the behaviors. You need to make him feel responsible for his actions. You can make a good one or a bad one. But anyway, the Spurs do a lot of that. The Spurs are not going to let the players run havoc in that organization. And we've seen it plenty of times when we bring in a player and then he's gone. It's like, we don't tolerate any of that stuff. So that's the dictatorship I think that he's talking about. And I don't think it's like that across the NBA, because these are grown men. These aren't 15-year-old boys and 16, 17-year-old boys like I deal with. These aren't collegiate athletes who are still going to school and they're not getting paid for this. No, these are grown men who get paid to do a job. Okay, so this isn't like high school. In high school, your best player can be the worst kid on the team, and his parents can be a head of a booster club or whatever, and then the coach can't really do anything about it because he's gonna get clapback from the parents to the administration, back to the coach, and now the coach is handcuffed a little bit. Now, good coaches know how to handle those situations. Let me just say that too, but that doesn't happen in the NBA or in college. Like in college, you have the top recruit in the nation. You got to play him. You got to play him. Why? Because he's going to bring in money to that school, right? And so the Spurs don't run that way. And I think a lot of other organizations in the NBA do. I don't think, use Washington as an example. I'm not talking about the current day Washington, because I think they're making moves within their coaching staff and their management staff that are good moves, bringing in good people. But before that, they had Gilbert Arenas, they had Andre Blatch, they had Caron Butler, they had uh, Jordan Crawford, Nick Young, JaVale McGee. They had all those dudes on one team. On one team, they had him. Oh man! So can you imagine the dysfunctionality that was happening in that locker room? And that's ultimately going to spell doom for your season, for your player development, for all that stuff. Because if you have one bad egg, that one bad egg can turn your young players into other bad eggs. They can learn by example, and it's not a good example. You want the good example. So that's what the Spurs, I think, have held close to their heart when it comes to selecting staff, selecting players, selecting all types of stuff, and also selecting the way that they do things. So it's a dictatorship, sure. Some people can say that, but it's a dictatorship that's going to give you championship trophies. And it's like the Patriots. The Patriots logo is "Do your job." They're not going to tolerate with any nonsense. You want to make media waves? You want to go and whatever? Get out of here. Get out of here. We don't need you. I'll find someone else. I'll work with that other player who wants to work hard, keep his head down, and do things the right way, the Spurs way, and we'll build that guy. We don't need this all-star drama and all that stuff like that. We don't. San Antonio doesn't. Some teams might need it. Small market teams, they'll take anything they can get. Drama, good basketball, story, get them on the front page of Bleacher Report, whatever. They'll take it. Okay, so I got a few more questions here. Sorry, that was a long one. I kind of rambled on. That one, Gregory Castillo, what's going on? Chris Bisall writes, do you think Keldon will be a part of the normal rotation moving forward? Yeah. I want to say yes. That was something that we were seeing already, like in the last few games of the season. I think they were realizing, like, this kid needs to play. He's doing too many good things and too little mistakes. He should be in that rotation. Okay, so one more. Do you think DeMar will ball out and give his all in Orlando? Cody Castillo, thank you for bringing that up. That's the question that I posted. If you guys aren't following OOC SAS on Instagram, OOC SAS, in our stories, me and the guys and the crew from OOC are always just kind of posing questions to each other. And that was one that I posed 2 days ago. Because DeMar seems to be in a zone. DeMar DeRozan seems to be like locked in right now. If you're seeing his photos from returning to practice, he looks like he's in good shape. He looks like he's working hard. I know that he's super excited about being able to promote the Black Lives Matter movement and all of that happening. So I think that DeMar is actually fueled right now with some extra motivation to perform. I'm not saying he doesn't have it all the time, but like some people like to say, his first year with us, he played with an edge. It was that I just got traded edge. Oh, y'all didn't want me edge? You know what I mean? I'm going to show y'all edge. You know what I mean? So DeMar played with that last year. And he's been playing well this year. But I can maybe see what people I can understand the argument that people say about him this year not really having that. I think he's kind of gotten that back. I think that him being involved in DeMar DeRozan has won me over this year. I was so hard on him last year for getting ejected out of the Denver game. I know Destin likes to bring that up all the time, that I have some opinions on DeMar, and it's true. I feel like that's a loser mentality. Who gets kicked? In San Antonio, no one ever gets kicked out of a playoff game for technicals, right? Unless it's the coach, right? And then so that one hurt me really bad. But I think that now this year, the leadership that he's shown. And I don't buy any of the reports that he's not happy here and he wants out and all that stuff. No, he is the ultimate professional. He's been great for our young guys, for Murray and for Keldon and for all these young bucks. And he's been teaching them by example. So I appreciate DeMar, and he's actually won me over this year. And how involved he's been with the community and the Black Lives Matter and all that stuff has really just emphasize that even more for me. So I really respect the dude, and I think that he is going to be in some type of mindset coming back into Orlando. And okay, who has the best player in these teams? Sacramento, Memphis, New Orleans, us, Phoenix. Out of those teams, who am I missing? There's two more. Utah. No. Portland. Out of those teams that are trying to get in right now, I would say maybe Damian Lillard's the best player out of all those guys. I would put DeMar DeRozan probably second. So there's something going on here. There's something brewing here with the fact that Lonnie Walker and DeJounte Murray both cut their hair, and it seems to me like they're about their business right now, and they're staying locked in on the goal, and they're going to Orlando not to just go and play. I think they have a message they want to send to the rest of the league. I think DeJounte has a message he wants to send to the rest of the league. I think that Bryn, Derek White, and Keldon and Luka and those young guys are going to be here to say something in Orlando about the San Antonio Spurs. Now, I'm not saying they're just going to dominate and take over, because a lot of the other teams are hungry as well. They've been sitting on their tails as well, wanting to get back in the gym. So they're hungry as well. Should be some high competitive levels in Orlando. But if DeMar DeRozan is one of the best players in those bottom 6-7 teams, I don't see why we can't. The odds are against us. Even my own prediction, I think at first with LaMarcus Aldridge, I thought we had like a chance of going 6-2. And then when he went out, I was like, maybe 4-4. And then as of yesterday or 2 days ago on OOC Live, I put the Spurs at 2-6, right? I had 3-5. But if that's with me thinking also that DeMar wasn't going to play, because one of the biggest questions during all of this is, if DeMar plays, what does that mean for his free agency? Would it be safer for him to sit out since he's going to be a free agent? I know he has the ability to opt in. So if he does get hurt, he can opt in for this next season for the San Antonio Spurs and get his money and rehab and try to get a deal after that, maybe. Knock on wood. But I think if DeMar shows up in Orlando and has the mindset and has the swag and the focus to not let referees bother him, to do what he does best, get buckets, find open players, I think that we have just as good a chance as anybody with these young guys. I feel ready, like they're ready. And like Kelly Oubre is not playing for Phoenix. See who else is not playing. Bogdanovich is not playing for Utah, and we play Utah twice. And if you go look in that LaMarcus Aldridge film room that I was talking about earlier, and when I talk about how when we played Utah without LaMarcus Aldridge, how they were getting every bucket that they wanted at the rim, you can go and look at it. I put both of the shot charts up. Dude, Bogdanovich was killing us. He was getting to the rim whenever he wanted with Utah. So I'm glad that he's not playing. So there's some things in here that are favoring the Spurs way. Portland has Nurkic and Collins coming back, and I feel like that actually is a sleeper. Like, that's a big up for Portland, because all they really have to do is just protect the rim and be good defenders right now. And I know they're coming off injury, and no one's 100% coming off injury, but they could be one of the ones that maybe take that leap. I think New Orleans is a team that everybody wants to win. Obviously, the NBA gave them the easiest schedule out of all of us. They really want to see Zion in the playoffs. But I think New Orleans, there's something about their youth. Their youth hasn't proven anything, and neither has ours, to be honest. But they want to put this whole thing on the back of Zion and the back of maybe Drew Holiday or Brandon Ingram, Lonzo Ball, those guys. I feel better about putting it all on DeMar's back. DeMar's been there before. DeMar's been in a lot of big games. So New Orleans, maybe. What without LaMarcus Aldridge, I'm worried about Memphis, you know. But anyways, if DeMar DeRozan is one of the best players in Orlando in those bottom 6, 7 seeds, I don't see why we can't be a sleeper team that just comes out of nowhere and surprises people. Okay, so let me see. We got a few more questions that came in here. Let me scroll through them. Thank you guys for using the hashtag. I appreciate y'all. If you can, go ahead and click the subscribe button down below, the like button down below if you're watching. Appreciate y'all a lot. It's been a lot of fun. I got so much more content coming your way. I'm gonna try to do a film room live for all of our 8 games, for all of the 7 teams that we're gonna play in those 8 games. Utah, Memphis. I mean, I did Sacramento already. I'm doing Memphis on Monday, so on and so forth. All right, so that's where we'll just kind of go through some film and see some trends that pop out to me. Okay, let me see. Nicholas writes, do you think DeMar would be dumb not to pick up his player option now that the NBA's financial uncertainty becomes because of the pandemic? That's what I started off thinking. But there's a lot of people out there smarter than me that were saying that it would be smart for all of these free agents to opt out right now and get what they can, get the next big deal that they can, because they don't know, I guess, what the big deals will look like in a year or two, or something, that it's smarter for them right now to opt out and renegotiate. So I thought it would be smart to opt in because of the uncertainty, but at the same time, there's a lot of things in the air about this, like DeMar, he's going to play. That's one thing, so I think I wish him all the best. I want him to play. I want him to ball out. I want him to get a nice contract after this. If it's with the Spurs, that's fine too. I just think some things need to change in our strategies and our philosophy with him in the game. But that's a good question, Nicholas. All right, Jezreel Lil Roo, Lil Ruru, is that Ruru? Nah, not your Ruru son, Jezreel. All right, no, I'm just playing. You think the odds are good for us to trade the 11th to Boston for 2 first-rounders, the 17th and the 26th? Could we get a guy like Vassell and a 5 spot like Daniel Oturu? Man, it's a confusing question. Trade 11 to Boston for 2 first-rounders, the 17th and the 26th. So you're saying, can we get Vassell at 17 or Oturu at 17 and Vassell later? I can see, look, Jezreel, you're on the same mind wave right now as Harrison. Harrison's saying trade that thing. Get 2 other picks, get more assets for the future. This draft is not that deep. That's Harrison's mindset. So I think you need to go follow San Antonio Spurs Talk on Facebook and SA Spurs Talk, I think, on Instagram and stuff. So go to OC Spurs Live, talk to Harrison. Shoot Harrison a question on OC Spurs Live. I think he's going to like how you think. We're drafting Vassell 11. Okay. All right. Well, that's all the questions I believe that I have in here right now. Wow, I've been in here for an hour. It's crazy how this time flies. I love chatting with you guys. I love being able just to talk Spurs with you guys. And I appreciate y'all for joining in, hopping in, following me, subscribing, liking this video. There's a lot more Spurs commentary content coming your way from me, so make sure to subscribe. Make sure to go to the OOC Order on the Court YouTube channel, subscribe there, so you can stay tuned. Guys, so much content coming from OOC Spurs, watch parties, post games. If you want to get your voice heard, you want to be on all of those, go become a member. It's only $5 a month. It's a Subway sandwich. $5 foot long. You've heard that one, right? Yeah. $5 OOC Spurs for a month. We're gonna do giveaways. We're gonna have special guests come on. It's gonna be so much fun. But it's not free. We do this stuff for you for free. Some of the other things that we do, it costs money. And why? Why do we charge? Maddie keeps telling me to make sure I say this, so I'm gonna say this. We're gonna use this money to improve what we do. We're gonna get all of us better equipment so we can have better quality. We need to pay our website fee, right? $17 a month, $27 a month. We're going to pay our streaming service here at StreamYard, because we tried messing with OBS. I did in the beginning of all this OOC stuff. And you remember how bad our streams were? I don't know if you've been following OOC Spurs, but in the beginning, our streams were terrible, man. Lagging and all this stuff. So StreamYard's where it's at. We're going to run with StreamYard as long as we can until it's smart for us not to. But we're going to upgrade our StreamYard subscription. We're going to get the professional subscription for that too. And guess how much that is? $20 a month. You keep hearing me? The website, a month. The shop, a month. The stream service, a month. Podcasting stuff, a month, right? So that's why we built this platform for you guys, where you guys can actually support us and make us better, right? So everything that we do here is about engaging with our subscribers. Why become a member? Not only because of everything I've said too, but we're going to give you opportunities, our members opportunities to jump on shows with us, to jump on podcasts with us, to leave their comments, to get their voices heard. This is all about you guys. If you go to OOCspurs.com, on the top it says join the best Spurs fan community on the planet. And I believe that. I believe that because that's what all four of us here at OOC have taken to heart. And that's what we've built this on. All of this was built off of, we need to do something for the Spurs community. We don't want to just be another Spurs outlet out there who just gives you guys content and makes you guys pay for what? For an article that has stats in it, or to get our audio versions only, of our OOC Live. Why would you want to pay for that? No, you want to pay for the experience, right? You want to pay for the opportunity to get on the show, to win a gift, to see a guest and interact with a guest on our live streams, to get into a community during a game live and get your voices heard. And that's what OOC Spurs is all about. The first watch party against Sacramento, again, is free. We're going to be revving up for that watch party. Okay, so make sure that you guys go ahead and do your research. Ask us questions. Send us questions via social media. If you have any questions about what we're doing or how it works, reach out to us. We appreciate you guys. Again, go to projectspurs.com. They are dropping a hell of a lot more content right now that the Spurs are back in the gym. More information is coming out. Projectspurs.com has been one of my favorite top Spurs websites since 2011 or 2012, since they've started. I remember being in San Antonio and they were a young page at the time, but they've been quality personified since the beginning, and their articles are great. Their content is great. The fact that they even asked me to be a part of it in any type of capacity is an honor to me. So make sure you go ahead and check out projectspurs.com. And if you want to see everything that I got going on, you can go to robtherejr.com. I have aerial, I drone, I do some stuff with video and whatnot. You can see everything I got going on there, and it's not even done yet. I still need to put up my teacher experience, my coaching experience. I want to, I'm studying for my real estate exam. So if you're looking for a home in Texas soon, not right now, but soon, I'll be able to help you out on that front too. There's just so much I got going on, but one of the main things that I love to do is just sit in here and chat with you guys about Spurs basketball. So I appreciate all the support that you're giving me, if it's on the OOC side or the Project Spurs side, or just subscribing here to this channel and following me on social medias and the podcast and all that stuff too. So thank you guys so much. It's been a lot of fun. Go Spurs, go.